Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chimanimani and this here is my husband Mandla. He's here for the first time on my channel, so I'm so excited. So for today's episode, we're going to talk about something that went viral last week because of Jada Pinkett Smith, and that's entanglements. Whether you want to call it an entanglement or friends with benefits or situationships, whatever people are calling it these days, we're going to tuck into all of that and give you our opinion as a married couple.
Fantastic. Let's do it.
So one of the main reasons why my beloved is here is because I want to get a guy's perspective on this entire thing. So before we go far, what is an entanglement? Please tell us, or a situationship, or whatever it is people call it these days.
I have no idea what an entanglement is. I absolutely
Liar!
no idea.
Liar!
No, I think an entanglement is probably a situation where people find themselves looking for a title for something that isn't quite normal. I think we nowadays try and make abnormal situations seem like the norm, and we come up with fancy names and that kind of thing. So it's not something that's considered normal in society, but then we kind of give it a title so that we can justify our actions.
So I'm going to ask a question that I probably shouldn't be asking. Have you ever been in an entanglement? Let's hear the truth. I don't know if I want to hear this, but anyway, tell me. Have you?
This is a bit awkward. The answer to that question is yes.
Okay. So what was it like for you? Why were you in an entanglement? And just tell me about it, but not too much detail, because I'm a bit of a so just tell me about it.
Okay, to answer your question, my entanglement or my situationship, it was something that happened obviously a long time ago, and
I hope so.
Definitely. So it's kind of complicated to explain how these things happen. I think as a guy, it's kind of like you feel that there's no emotional connection or attachment to the person that you are in this situation with. So you get involved and you kind of just go with the flow. But the problem is, in those situations, someone is always going to get hurt. There's always someone who comes out second best or someone who loses. So let me just put it this way: it wasn't ideal. It wasn't a good moment in life, but it's something that happened.
Well, I think when it comes to some of these things, I think it's also very important for you to know yourself. For example, I have friends who are excellent at being in entanglements. They do it well. They don't get attached. I was never that guy. I was just never that person. It never worked for me because I catch feelings. I don't know if this happens to any of you guys out there, but it's just so hard. Like, how do you gauge how much you share with someone? Because how do you know what the line is between like casual conversation and telling someone your life story? Like, where does it begin and where does it end? And the last person I was in an entanglement with was this one right here, and I married him. So clearly I'm no expert, but I don't know. I think it depends on the kind of person that you are. And sometimes I feel like women get pressured into these situations because, in the back of our heads, we're like, oh my gosh, I hope he changes. I'll be the one to fix him. I'll be the one to change him. And we tend to come out second best. So I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe for you guys out there, like this no strings attached thing works well. But I realized the hard way, I'm just not that kind of person. What are the pros and the cons to these kind of situations? I don't get it. I feel like you'll have more pros in a relationship compared to something like this. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think the pros from a guy's point of view will be, being in a situation that is physical in nature, or a relationship that's more physical than anything. There's not a lot of emotion involved, and it's sort of casual and call it chilled out, if you will. So that would be a pro from at least a guy's point of view. But like I said earlier, it's there is someone who ends up losing on one end or the other, and sometimes it tends to be the girl.
Usually,
in other situations, it could be the guy, because I think you also do have women who are very happy to be in these entanglements or these kind of situations where it's maybe more of a physical relationship,
Right.
and there's no emotional connection or any sort of other bond or connection between the two people.
Yeah.
So
I think also what it boils down to is we need to ask ourselves why. Why are we promoting these kinds of relationships? I mean, TV, the internet and everything has made things like this okay, but are we really looking into the consequences of these relationships on ourselves? And why do we feel the need to put ourselves in these situations? So I'm going to talk about myself. I'm not going to speak for anyone else. But for me, just a little bit of a backstory there. The time that we met, I just come out of a really, really bad relationship. I'd been together with this person for so long and it blew up badly. And I didn't want anything official because I was afraid of being hurt. I was afraid of heartbreak, and I'd been there, done that. I was still healing. I wasn't even over this guy. And I think I just needed time. But at the same time, I was interested in you.
Shining on.
Well, okay, I suppose. But I think at the same time, I was interested, but I didn't want to invest too much emotionally. Now, the reason why I say this doesn't work for a lot of people was I did eventually invest emotionally. And okay, I mean, like ours worked out well, obviously, you know, we got married. But for a lot of people, that doesn't end up being the case. So I think if I could go back and give myself advice, I think I would have told myself, why are you jumping from one person to the next? Like, take a break, take your time, and, you know, see where things go from there. But I guess people are different. Some people, you know, move on very quickly and don't have any issues with it. Others take a little bit of time. But it boils down to knowing yourself. And the other huge factor that comes into play when it comes to these things is knowing what you want and communicating what it is that you want from the relationship, the situationship, whatever it is that you want to call it. Because I find a lot of the time, people aren't clear about what it is they're looking for going in. A guy wants something casual, or the girl wants something casual, and the guy doesn't. And then that's where things tend to get messy. But how do you avoid situations like that?
Avoid situations where you get into a situation.
Yeah, because I mean, okay, to give you an example, there's some guys who'll tell you straight up, look, I'm not looking for anything serious, I'm just looking for something casual. And then us girls are like, oh, you know, this guy, how dare he's so rude, he's so this, he's so that. But he told the truth and he did the right thing, so you know what you're going into. But I've had guys tell me that there's no winning. You know, you tell a girl what you really want, you're a bad guy. If you're not upfront about what you want, you're a bad guy. I don't know. How do you navigate that?
It's a tricky situation. I mean, it's a tricky. It's difficult to give you a straight answer to that because each situation presents itself with different challenges. I guess when two people come together, there's always so many expectations on either side. So if the guy comes out openly and honestly and says, I'm looking for something very serious, even sometimes that could also be perceived as intimidating. Someone might not be ready for that.
Yeah.
So but
that was me. That's actually what he did to me. Day 2, I think it was like our first date, was it our second date? He's like, I see you being my girlfriend. I was like, whoa there. Okay, sit down. This is awkward. We barely know each other. But he did the right thing. I mean, he told the truth from the get-go, and he gave me the option to opt in or opt out, which I think is fair.
And with that, I think it was me knowing myself, as you've rightly said.
Right.
Once you know yourself and you know what you want and don't want, I think it's a lot easier for you to then be able to communicate that to the person that you're with or the person you want to be with.
I think another thing that people don't consider when it comes to these situationships or whatever, hygiene, personal hygiene is just gross. I don't know, just for me, I don't know, I read this statistic. Look, I don't know whether it's a lie or not. You can decide for yourself. Something like someone's saliva takes how long to leave your system? Ew!
It's 2 weeks or something.
No, it's like 14 days or something. That is just gross. I think on that basis alone, that is a very good reason to just not do any of these things. It's just gross. We're not even going to go into the health aspects of being in a physical relationship with someone, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's just I don't think it's good for your health. I don't know. Just anyway, wanted to throw that in there. How do you navigate jealousy? I don't know if it's me, am I the problem, but I'm someone who does not do well with knowing that there's competition, or I'm just a jealous person. He's always laughing at me saying that I'm just a shanya because I don't cope well with that. But when you're in a situationship, this is what you've signed up for. So are you saying that people don't get jealous, or how do you work that bit?
There obviously is a bit of jealousy because you know you're not officially together. You're kind of in this state of limbo.
But you can't say something. You're just dying inside.
No, you can't. You actually can't, unfortunately, because you're just playing around, or you're
you're messing around, and I don't know how people do it. Just I think even whether or not you really care for this person or not, it's just that feeling that you're not number one in someone's life.
And the thing is, you don't know if they're seeing someone else, or
and you can't ask.
You can't. Yeah.
I think one thing that we're going to do today is we're going to make the case for monogamy, because I think people have made this casual relationship thing so common that people have forgotten the power and the beauty of being in a monogamous relationship. And I think it's something that we kind of need to bring back. Because these days, if you say something like, look, I'm dating for marriage, or I want to be in a serious relationship, I'm looking to settle down, there tends to be a lot of judgment with that. And I can never understand why, because you're being truthful about what you're looking for, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, being in a monogamous relationship is beautiful. I mean, just the security of knowing that I am with this person and they are my person. And that promise that you make to each other, not even in marriage, of course, yes, but just even in a relationship, to say, look, you and I are exclusive. You are the only one that I want to see. There's so much power in that. But why is it that we look down on people who want something like that?
I think it's because people aren't sure about what they really want.
Yeah.
I think you got to get to a point in your life where you say, I want to be in a serious relationship, or I want to get married, or I want to have a family.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people don't want to get to that point, maybe because also being in situationships or casual relationships is easy. It seems like an easy way out. It's there's not as much pressure attached to that. But it's for me, to be honest, I think it's something so taxing. And I think early on soon after university, I think in my early 20s, I think that's when I just realized, okay, I'm done with situationships and complicated relationships and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think from that time, it was sort of just being mentally prepared to meet someone and at least share who I am with that person.
Yeah.
And then taking it from there.
Yeah, I think you have to get to a stage in your life where it's like, look, this is me. I don't have time for games. I don't have time to mess around and play the who's who. Does he like me? Does he not? All those questions. I think you need to get to a point in your life where you say, look, my name is Kelly. I like tea, or I like to pick flowers. And whether or not that's what you're into, tell me now, because I am looking for someone to pick flowers with. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's important for people to just be open about it, because I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And I think also that feeling of you're building something with someone, I think the lack of security in some of these casual relationships, it could disappear tomorrow. Someone can wake up and decide, no, okay, I'm done, and that's it. Not that someone can't do that in a relationship or in marriage, but it's less likely, I suppose, for someone to walk away from, because you're building something together, you're working on something together. And I think you should be able to express your love for someone freely without thinking, oh my gosh, are they going to think I'm coming out too strong? Are they going to think this? Without all the questions. I think that's a huge factor that we tend to overlook quite often.
And I think something else that we need to also consider or think about is the fact that maybe monogamy isn't for everyone.
Yes,
you know?
that is true.
So you've got casual relationships, situationships, entanglements. Then you've got serious marriages and relationships and that kind of thing. But also, I think in between that, there's some people who say, well, I don't want to get married, or I don't want to have kids, or that kind of thing. Again, it's knowing yourself, but also having that open and honest conversation with someone else, because there's nothing worse than getting into a relationship or a marriage that it's not something you want. You may have done it because of, peer pressure, family pressure, whatever.
Or a child.
And you've decided, okay, well, now the next step is to get married for the sake of this child. If it wasn't in your plans to have a kid, or rather to be married,
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Know yourself and be confident enough with your decision to say, okay, well, this is what I've decided, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay to live this way for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And own it.
Own it, yes.
Own it. I mean, if this is the choice that you've made, own it. Don't drag someone else's child into your misery because you don't know what you want. And I think that's something that we always tend to overlook, because we look at relationships from such a selfish point of view of like, I want. But you need to think of what you're doing to someone else's child and the person they're going to be with after you. You could be damaging someone for life by your actions. So I think we don't take it seriously enough, and we're far too casual about some of these things.
That's true. So I think another issue that we need to discuss on this topic is how do you introduce someone?
Oh yes.
Like how are you introduced, or how do you then introduce?
It gets awkward.
That person
it gets really awkward.
Yeah.
It gets really awkward because, like, hi, this is Manda, my treasured acquaintance.
My good friend, my friend with benefits.
My co-conspirator. What is the what do you say? And the thing is, now and that point is going to come, unless you're saying that you're only seeing each other, in private or behind closed doors. But that also makes me feel like, am I your dirty little secret that you just don't want to show me off to the world? It's awkward. It gets murky.
I think also with the titles, it can be good and bad. Now society has come up with all these new titles.
Yeah, these new terms.
To make things that are abnormal seem normal. But at the same time, we also need to have titles for things that are positive.
Yeah.
Or for relationships that are positive.
Like what?
If we say can't think of what.
I think we also need to clarify the difference between being in a relationship and dating for marriage, because it seems not everyone is dating for marriage, even if they're in a serious relationship. So what is the difference between the two?
Being in a serious relationship that's geared towards marriage is one that you have said that this is where I want to be, or this is the person I would want to be with for the rest of my life. So any steps that you're taking in that relationship are building towards marriage. Right. Yes. So then, probably let me call it the other style of dating is more casual, and to a certain extent you have 1 foot out of the door and 1 foot still in the relationship. You're sort of giving yourself room to say, well, look, if this doesn't work, it's also okay. I can always find someone else. But that's not ideal at all.
Yeah.
That's not a good way to be in a relationship, because you aren't giving that person your all. You're not giving them 100% attention or the 100% commitment that they deserve. Yeah.
And I think the other issue, what other difference comes in, sometimes people, I think when you're dating for marriage, that person should be someone that you can see yourself marrying as they are. As they are while you are dating them, they should be someone that you can see yourself marrying. Because a lot of people have it in their heads that like, oh, marriage fixes everything. He was cheating while we were dating, but once we get married, it'll be so much better. I think this whole dating for marriage thing is a whole other topic. If you guys want to know more about that, just let me know. Just comment down below and we'll do a separate video about that, because there's so much to talk about. But anyway, if you guys are into that, just let me know down below.
What if you see yourself ready to marry someone after the third date?
Or like you.
Like me.
Did you really? Really?
I don't know. I think so.
Did you?
No, wait, date? Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh.
No, look, it was very early on. It was early.
It was really early. No,
Yeah.
it was uncomfortably early.
The ICU being my girlfriend, that was date 2.
That was day 2. Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
You know, we got to I love yous at some point. So
Yeah,
after that, then
later.
marriage. Okay.
Actually, you know, to be honest, okay, I know every couple says this, but our story is so interesting. It really is. But anyway, you know what? I'll do another video on that one.
For another day.
That's a story for another day. It wasn't all rocky and rosy, lots of ups and downs. But yeah, anyway, let me know if you guys want to know about that. We'll tell you all about it. That's all I have for you today, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Special thank you to Mandla for joining us today. It was good to hear a guy's perspective. If you like more videos like this, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and like and subscribe down below. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Do something. Not yet.